All right.
Oh, that's
Anybody else out?
hello, Jamie.
You can hear me?
You know, I, sometimes I don't know exactly which buttons to push, so I'm very sorry.
You don't know which buttons to push. Huh. Well, this thing's pushing my buttons, I can tell you that.
So, stay centered with auto framing. I don't know whether to
I don't
turn that on.
understand. I don't understand. It's not English, man.
I know it's so problematical for me. So, um,
What if I do this?
I don't
At
think I
least I got
need that. I don't think I need
I
that.
joined in something different.
Philosophical note.
Mute, stop video, leave.
Okay, just
Share
X
screen.
that out.
Just says just you and me at this point.
Well, I know Tim Burgess is due. But as long as you're there, I don't see any reason that there would be
Oh,
anybody else unable to get on.
yeah.
Um,
It's it's all hit and miss with me. I don't know what I'm doing. And when it says download to the upload to the cloud to your ICS,
no,
no,
I don't have that.
I'm out. I'm out
But
on
I got
that.
all this other stuff at the bottom. Well, that's gone now. Um,
Yeah, it comes and goes. Maximize. Everybody should be at the top, shouldn't they? Oh, I guess it's just you and me at this point.
yeah, because if you're on, then that would nobody else wouldn't be able to be, I don't think.
Yeah,
Um, although I'm usually there's Frank and a few people that are here early.
yeah. I've
So
joined it. It did this and did that and download the app and all. I've done all that stuff before. And it said down below, it said join from your browser. I don't even know what that is. So I hit on that
I know.
and
I know.
magically it appeared.
This is why I'm so freaked out about this stuff and and never sure that I mean Nora, I mean I'm okay for just going on. I could do this on my own. The big problem was the recordings because
Yeah.
oh there's Ron. Well, that's good. That
Well,
means
he's coming on.
everyone's coming. Um hey man.
He's got to turn on his
Oh,
mic.
there's Tim. Okay, so you guys are going to be the first two guys to meet him. Um,
Morning, Phil.
good morning. Good morning, Tim. Uh, so you can see these guys' names, I think, on their pictures.
Then that's Jamie. Okay. Hi, Jamie.
Yeah,
Hey, Tim.
there's Jamie and there's Ron. He's
Didn't I have a gallery feed of them? I'm not good at this either. Okay, there we go. That's better. All right. Okay. Hi, Ron.
Ron's the closest one to you geographically, I think.
Where are you to?
Where are you?
I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia.
I'm in Frederick,
Well,
Maryland.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Phil told me about that. So you are close. Yeah, good.
well,
So
I'm a long way from there.
Where are you at, Jamie?
Jamie's
I'm
on
up
the,
in
yeah, go ahead, tell
Waimea
us.
in the big island of Hawaii.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
Yep. Kamawela
Kamawala, if you want to call it that.
Oh,
or
well.
Wailua. No, why
Waimea.
not? Why not? Why not? Right?
Well, because the post office at Waimea
I
is
may,
up on
that's what I mean.
the town of Waimea in Kauai. And everybody thinks of Waimea as the surf break on the north shore of Oahu.
Right?
And
Right.
it only means red water anyway. So there's one everywhere. So actually, the town of Kamawala was, you remember where the junction is down by HPA? One
Yep.
goes over the mountain and one goes down to the coast.
Yep.
Well, that was the little ranch village of Kamawela. And so they they called this Kamawela for uh, in order to get the post to the right spot. But nobody calls it that, except Phil. See, now is that sarcasm or is that cynicism?
I think either one, whichever one you intend.
Well, that's my style, man. It's my style.
So if any of you guys, oh, there goes, there's Frankie.
Where's he? Has he got fake background or is he outside?
With a bean, looks like it got some new cap he's wearing there.
He's gone again.
Gonna make an appearance at some moment. Everybody's retired here so far. Although everyone's got new vistas. James up there is on his motorcycle. He's motorcycling into the future.
Nice.
Ron's remastering music.
Awesome.
Here's Frank, who's a retired defense attorney, who's sort of halfway back into
Frank.
it.
Semi-retired or what?
Semi-retired.
Retiring?
He's got a broken heart this week.
Yeah.
So this is Tim, Frank.
Oh, Frank.
We're not getting sound from Frank. Looks like he's yawning.
He can figure it out though. See, that's the thing.
Loud time.
There.
Okay. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Frank.
He's also on the Big Island.
Ah, good.
Yes.
Yeah, he's way down south though.
Kona, he's on the Kona coast. Captain Cook.
Couldn't count.
50 miles away from Jamie.
Ah,
It's not too far.
At least.
what time is it there? So is it
2 o'clock.
okay?
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, nice.
What time is it in North Carolina?
It's in Virginia actually, but it's 7 p.m. Just after, well, almost 7 p.m. here. So, however that works out. Yeah.
Well, let's see how many we're going to be. Those that I know aren't going to be here are the Tims 1 and 2.
Tim's 1 and 2. That
And
makes you Tim 3, I'm afraid.
sorry. So
I haven't been around that many times in one thing.
and there's Mitch, who's an event came up that he had to go to. There's this woman, Leanne Atherton, a great singer. I've known her for years too, through Mitch being in Austin a lot. And she's being initiated into a spiritual group over the weekend, today and tomorrow. And so Mitch has kind of taken her over. They've become her kind of accomplice, and they've been friends for 50 years or more than that. Mitch and I have known each other since '79, and they were already good friends then when I met her. And Carlos, of course, is down Mexico ways. That's 4. So Scott, as far as I know, will be showing up.
Okay.
And who else is on this list? Anybody can think of who else?
Hey, was Nora able to help you yesterday?
Yeah, she really didn't need to, except for because I can get us on it. That's only a couple of clicks.
Yeah.
What I was mainly concerned about was a number of other things, but the recordings.
When I just now logged on, it said this is being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. She had this is her problem, which is kind of well. There's Chris, so she had done the wrong thing with the recordings, and that's why Scott couldn't get on the recordings of our last episode, and so I was all flummoxed about that, and so so she fixed it, but she hasn't been able to discover where that recording went from 2 weeks ago, or how many weeks ago, whatever that was. And Chris, this is right above you here is Timothy Burgess.
Chris,
Timothy Burgess, nice
how are
to
you
meet you.
nice to meet you as well, sir.
Welcome to the group of intrepid philosophical explorers.
Awesome.
Evolutionists.
Sorry.
Chris goes back the longest of anyone in this group,
Oh, nice.
back to 1973 when he and his fiancee were in my sophomore literature class. Then the woman I was with at the time went to their wedding. And then Chris was out of academia for 20 years or so. I don't know how many years it was.
10 years.
Only 10?
Nah, it was, 96 through 2010, 14.
Oh, you were in 96?
96, yeah. 96, I came back.
Because I coaxed you back, right?
Well, I mean, if you want to remember it that way, that's fine. You've done a lot of coaxing with me over the years, so yeah, I'm sure it was
Anyway,
directly or indirectly. Yes.
anyway, he came back finished his degree in English and became a graduate student, and he was my TA and all kinds of other stuff for I don't know how many, maybe 10 or 11 classes or something like
We
that.
had a good time.
And now he's got his PhD. Now he has his PhD and
Wow.
teaches at Kapiolani Community College. And
Where again? I'm sorry.
Kapiolani Community College on Oahu. Yeah,
It's all in the UH system, so everything works.
right. So now it's only Scott, and I don't know where Scott is, but he hasn't told me he wouldn't be here, so I'm sure he will. And now that I've coaxed everybody to warn us beforehand. But we know that Mitch, I was telling these guys, Mitch is working with his old friend Leanne Atherton on something in Austin, musically now, not spiritually now. And Carlos and the two Tims, the first two Tims. And so that's 4. So Scott is the only one, and he'll be showing up anytime. So we might as well get started. And Ron's going to give us some musical accompaniment here.
All
He's
right,
a bass player.
Perfect.
Go.
Yeah, so on Thursday night, for the first time in 17 years, the class I'm in at the community college, we did our recital, the jazz ensemble class. And I'll tell you, it's hard to get my heart rate down. You know, it's like, okay, don't push the tempo too fast. But it was nice. We had 9 songs. I did 4.5 of them. That was a lot. Yeah, we did Perdido, Caddy for Daddy, Cool Blues, and These Foolish Things. And, and then I'm just going to finish with this. So I'm like, I can play those. That's fine. But last night, if you all remember the band Spyro Gyra, kind of the funk jazz band.
Right.
So Scott Ambush, who is the bass player for Spyro Gyra, is from here in Frederick. And last night, he and his band played a gig down at one of the breweries. And I went to go see that. And after you see him, you're like, I don't think we're playing the same instrument, But yeah, so Tim, what Phil was saying, each of us have our own kind of endeavors. This was a big week, man. I had to perform in a voice class, in a piano class, and then do the recital. So,
Busy man.
What happened? Oh, that's just
good.
doing that.
It was good. It was good. That's all I have to share about.
So is that a guitar or a bass, Fred? Is that
that's electric bass. That's a fret.
Right. So I know I've already told you about Big Noise from Winnetka, right?
Yep.
So all you need is a drummer, and you could do that.
Oh, we have a nice selection of musicians around the area. Yeah, it's good.
Because you've heard Big Noise from Winnetka. I have told you that.
You sent that, yeah.
You guys should all get that record, or just Google it, and listen to it. Big Noise from Winnetka. It'll blow you away. Just bass and drums. Just bass and drums. Well, I guess we'll start with the agenda here.
Hey, Phil, I have a question for you on the agenda. I saw in the email that there was a link to the agenda, right? There was like a separate link to it, and I couldn't. It like wanted me to sign. I think it wanted me to sign in to try to get to it. I'm not. Or is there an agenda?
Was it? Yeah, there is one, but is there any? Was there any mention of what the name of it, what the topic would be, other than just agenda?
Well, there was a link in that email. It says meeting agenda docs.zoom.us.
Oh,
Does
I
any?
don't know what that would be. I don't know.
Okay, all right, okay.
That's way beyond me. But I'll tell you what I want to talk about today, and get some discussion during the thing. I mean, I did want you to review the Nova uh, episode on the secrets of the forest, and because as you recall, there was that period when I thought that the two Tims were going to lead the discussions, and they both didn't show up, and so and one was going to be this one, and the other one was going to be the uh, Amazon tribe evolution, and so we did spend some time on the Amazon one, but we didn't really get much work done on this one on the secrets of the forest. Um, and I wanted to do that before we moved on to January. One of the things on the agenda today will be deciding if we are going to meet on the 27th. Um, Now, Mitch, who I talked about just the other day, he's open to it. He feels that a couple of days after Christmas is not anything like a couple of days before might be. So we can decide that before the end of today, and if we do, then we can kind of decide on where we go. So the and I just well, we can to get into this in a moment. So here's some of the things that I want to talk about. I mentioned in that last email, I really want to talk about the four natural elements. So that and that's why I suggested that you look them up, just so that you'll see a whole lot of reinforcement on what I'll talk about for a few minutes here regarding those four natural elements, which are, of course, earth, water, fire, and air. And then we can relate those to the Nova episode on the secrets of the forest, because they're really emphasized very strongly in their interrelationship in the natural forest as it is when it's allowed to be a natural forest.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I also mentioned the elementals, which takes us into a little bit of metaphysical department. And if you check those out, you'll see once again that just by asking for the elementals, it'll take you there in the metaphysical way, and because they in this in the sacred traditions, especially the metaphysical sacred traditions, those four natural elements are considered to be conscious, and so as we look at them that way, then I think they really tie strongly into the evolutionary aspects of the nature and that part of the process. So I got my little meshing here, December 26th, 27th record question mark. Now, as well as we look at the secrets of the forest, I think it's appropriate to bring up this other topic that I've tossed around a little bit, but maybe only in conversations on the phone with all of you, but has to do with what I consider to be evolution's interruptions. And as we look at history, we can look at periods that seem to be rich with evolution taking place. Um, and we'll be looking at that when we look at transcendentalism in January and Emerson and Thoreau. And so in transcendentalism, a rich period, because there's also metaphysical traditions like Madame Blavatsky, Mary Baker Eddy's Christian Science. I mean, all kinds of spiritual explosions that were taking place in that 19th century period, which then seemed to be interrupted, and as I see it, possibly by the Gilded Age, something like that, the latter part of the 19th century, where materialism won over, and then took it right on into the 20th century and so on. And then we've talked about the New Age in the 70s, and at some point, we'll be looking at this book right here. I've showed it before. I was just thumbing through it. This is a 1975 edition of the 1975 book by Theodore Roszak, which is a tremendous book in the middle of the New Age movement in 1975 and so on. So now, I think I've already. Oh, and the other thing I do want to mention is the at the end of this episode of Nova, there are these references to the Potawatomi tribe as one way to go in terms of a meeting place with nature. And that whole episode is about that, really. I mean, it's all about peace with nature, and doing so by a big lesson in biochemistry. And I will want to mention my friend down the hill, Raphael, who he just got his bachelor's degree last year, and now he's a graduate student. I had him on the edge of joining us, but then he just decided that graduate school would be too much for him. He's a biochemist, and this is definitely all about biochemistry as we're getting this description of the forest, because it's using all kinds of terms, hydrogen and phosphorus and nitrogen and so on, and all the relationships between those terms. But I did mention to you a month ago or so this thing that Ann and I discovered on public television called "Bring Them Home," which was a Potawatomi approach toward bringing back the buffalo. And it's just a heartwarming episode that I'm still available, I'm sure, very easily. The woman that was the voice of it was that woman that was in that movie with Robert De Niro, the death. I forget the name of it. I always forget the name of it. Maybe one of you remembers it. It was a big movie. It was a tremendous movie about Native Americans, and she was the major character in it. And so it's just this heartwarming episode of this show called "Bring Them Home," and for some reason I wanted to mention that today. So that's pretty much it. So let's get back to the natural elements a bit. Because
Can I
there's
throw out something just real quick?
oh please.
While you're talking, I just looked up the word elemental in the Webster's dictionary, and I thought it's a very general meaning, but it kind of leads you right into what you're talking about. Definition number 2 is of, relating to, or resembling a great force of nature. The rains come with elemental violence, was their example sentence.
Yeah, and
I
of
just
course,
thought that was great force of nature. Just what you're talking about. And
yeah.
the other thought I had was, in high school, you get biology over here and chemistry over here. I never saw the two of them meeting. So this is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
biochemistry really is a great subject in this. Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
No, that was basically it.
I
You
think
know,
if we, okay, I think if we, the way I like to look at the elements, um, is if we look at weather, um, and then move back. And if we look at the weather in this period of history, and believe me, here I am up in the Pacific Northwest, where
yeah.
100,000 people have been evacuated from their homes, and
Getting a little weather up there.
some of the cities nearby, of course, we're high and dry here, but some of the cities like Mount Vernon or stuff like that, just south of us by 30 miles, uh, are just flooded out. This is the water element. Um, and so,
Also the heat element.
but then, Ann was showing me a picture of out in Leavenworth, and they've had a big issue there out in Leavenworth, where they're flooded too. But there's also tremendous destruction of buildings, not from flood, but from wind.
Hmm.
So this is the air element. Um, and so, and then you got other shit that's going on right now.
You get
Landslides,
landslides too, don't you?
landslides. That's right.
Yeah.
Landslides, earthquakes, all kinds of stuff. Or just look in Alaska where that land that was held up by the frost, the frozenness, and so on is all collapsed, and so on. The Earth is just not worth a shit. And when you look at how the soil is presented in Secrets of the Forest,
Mhm.
and you see how alive it is, and then I mean I spent so many hours meditating on this, where you've got imagining the life that takes place in the soil,
Mhm.
where the average person just thinks of the earth as something kind of like just dirt.
Let's clean it up.
And so, but underneath it, of
Yeah.
course, the earth all over the planet is being suffocated by what? Concrete, development, all that stuff. So of course there's not going to be any life under that. Where would you get the creatures that live there? Aerate
Facts.
it, aerate it, and so on. So here we are. We've got the terrible revenge that a lot of us have talked. A lot of you, a couple of you here, we've talked about the revenge of the elements because of how terrible they've been treated. I mean, all four of these elements have just been just horribly treated, all over the world, and now they're not very healthy if they're even alive any longer. Especially the heat, because when it's comfortable to talk about the earth, water, and air, and we can see the tremendous hurricanes and all this kind of stuff. That's all air, but it's really, when you look at that, the most important one has got to be heat. Because if we look at, let's say, when I was a boy in 1940, in the 40s, and then look at how much hotter the planet is. I mean, everybody knows that global warming, and so on. And so when we look at, then we move to alchemy when we think of the four elements. And the alchemists recognize the harmony of them in a healthy environment where they all contributed and worked together and produced life, produced nature, produced the plant world. Everything comes from this harmony of the four natures that we have just
Yeah.
discarded, sneered, whatever you want to call it. And then you go, fire is always talked about as the third of the four elements, but at the same time, when we look at it, we stop and recognize that it's really heat, because
Yeah.
fire requires combustible material and so on, blah blah blah. and it's the heat from the sun. And there's a lot of in nature, and there's a lot of mention of that in this episode of Secrets of the Forest.
Mhm.
The sun coming in, and this whole relationship with carbon, because it's the whole thing is really about carbon and about the uh, necessity of it, the health of it in a natural environment. How 50% of a tree is carbon. I mean, that's a mind blower for a lot of us, to be reminded of it, even since I was watching it again today and going, yeah, I mean, and then this relationship, of course, about carbon between the tree and the fungi or fungi or whoever we're listening to at the moment. And so it's like this tremendous relationship that's going on. And where is it that 50% of all the creatures in the world are existing below the earth, below the surface? I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, it's life, We think of life as human stuff, but it's like life and so much of it being in this relationship that we see being studied and worked at in terms of the way of rescuing it, really, um, with the health of the forest and so on. So when we look back at this relationship between these four elements, there's a metaphysical side to it, which I'll mention in a moment, but there's with the elementals. But in this other side of it, it's the precious components of nature, and we either treat them with scorn and disinterest, uninterest. Disinterest is a better word. Everybody know what the difference is between disinterest and uninterest is, by the way? You you want to tell
Well,
us? You want to tell us, Chris?
Oh, no, no.
It's just
I-
it's just it's just old.
Go ahead.
He's just used to this. So
Yeah,
no one, because they don't mean the same thing.
they don't.
Most people will say, he's disinterested. No, maybe not, because they don't know what it means.
Mhm.
Okay, uninterested means something obvious. Disinterest means you have nothing at stake in the matter,
hmm.
so that you are a disinterested party. Like Frank right there would say, hopefully it's the judges, because they're sitting there with no prejudice in the matter. But it sounds like the last judge he just had a problem with might not have been so disinterested. So I'll let you tell them the story in a little bit, Frank. And so
May I ask Frank a quick question?
please do.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, Frank, are you getting any of that weather? We got this big alert? There's going to be all this weather and stuff. Is it hitting you guys?
Not in Hawaii. Right now in the Big Island, it's like bright blue sky and white puffy
Wow.
clouds. I'm afraid of my neighbor who doesn't cut their grass. It's getting dry.
Ah,
Yeah.
It's going to get hot one day and
Okay.
it's going into
Here,
another
Chris.
chemical.
So what did you hear, Chris?
no, when there's a weather situation coming, the UH often sends an alert. And if you're in the system, everybody in the system gets it. And
Uh-huh.
there was this thing a couple days ago. There's going to be a lot of rain on the weekend, and we got
That's kinda-
church has got the Messiah production coming up on Sunday, and I'm kind of thinking, oh no,
Oh.
Are you in it? Are you in it?
am I in it?
Of course you are.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, Handel's Messiah. I've been in it for a while.
Yeah. It's your handle after all, isn't it?
It's my handle, yes. I handle my handle. So
Of course, some of you
Great
already
fun.
know. Some of you
Great
already
fun,
know. Okay, go ahead. What?
I'm sorry, great fun, but I was just concerned about the weather if it was going to be interfere
Yeah.
with it.
Nothing for 2 weeks.
Chris
Okay.
is our major.
Thanks
our
a lot,
major,
Jamie.
He's our
Honolulu.
major vocalist.
Says there's a flood watch.
Yeah, well,
Is
that's
there?
I got that one. Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
I was just
it's on
wondering.
Monday,
Oh
That
boy,
part of next week.
Global warming, there are always flood watches here.
yeah.
But we have
You know-
got nothing. We are in a drought cycle.
Wow.
We
I don't
are,
think it's rained. It hasn't been the correct weather like it once was. for a full year.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
it's very little rain here.
We in Kona still get rain, but it's like so little late in the day.
Well, and we're getting steady rain over the past few weeks here in Manoa. I mean,
Has
Oh
it?
yeah.
it's been
Oh.
overcast, drizzly, I mean, not torrential downpour, but pretty
Hmm.
steady.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we've had torrential
Yeah, you guys get
atmospheric
smacked.
river. We've had quite a
Knocked
bit of
down.
that here, of course, obviously.
Well, you guys can
Sorry,
send some of that
Didn't
to
mean
me.
to get too far off the track there, but
Can I get us back on the track with just a little story?
sure.
I was doing yard work this morning, and my neighbor cut down the hibiscus hedge I had, which was fine with me, but he left a lot of trash underneath the bushes, so I went to rake them. I was raking all these leaves and sticks and twigs and stuff, and I got halfway through, and I said, "Well, it sure looks nice and clean, just the dirt." And then I looked at the other half, which I hadn't done yet, and all the leaves and the twigs and the sticks and the pieces of grass and stuff. I thought, it looks a little more natural, It was just a big flash I had. I just said, I'm not going to touch that side for a while, Maybe I'll clean it up later. But this one looks really neat and clean, like everybody's yard is around me, I got to keep it just like them. But, hibiscus heads will probably get more out of this trash underneath it, right, than just the dirt. Anyway.
Recycling.
There you go. Well, the other thing I was wondering about, Guru, is that haven't you in your life spent quite a bit of time with composting and, regenerating stuff
Oh,
like
of course.
that?
Oh, yeah, I do know
mean, you
that.
had a whole deal where you were doing that, right?
Right. Sure. I do know that.
I'm doing it right now.
There you go.
So I was right in the middle of there telling you about Tim, especially these other guys know it, that his son has kind of taken what he learned musically from his parents, both mother and son, mother and father, a great musical team. I mean, this is a musical family like few. And so if you get a chance, like when the different operas are on the movies or whatever for you, like we do that, look for Quinn Kelsey.
Quinn Kelsey.
Quinn Kelsey, yeah. He's a baritone with the Metropolitan Opera Theater Company, whatever they call it. And we've had a couple, maybe three now, that we've been able to go to the Regal Cinema, and they'll show Quinn appearing in different Aida and I forget the others a couple at the moment. And Quinn was also my student, as well as was Chris's wife, as well as Chris's sister. And so that's I've
We
had
just don't know any better, I mean, what can I
it's the
say?
Kelsey, it's the
That's
the
it.
Irish in them.
There you go.
Somebody should have warned me.
Yeah. But Quinn just went the way. He just went the way.
Yeah, he did it.
And he's quite a guy, and he speaks well for his parents. I can tell you that very deeply. So I think that's Ron.
Well, one of the things I'd like to include at some point, only because you brought it up in terms of evolutionary interruptions, and or like events that happen quicker than natural processes are ready for, is for me, and we don't have to talk about this now, but at some point, is plastics in the environment, right? And how that's really, I mean, putting aside oil industry and that we all rely on all these things, but actual plastics in the environment that really weren't there. Even if you go to the beaches, we go to the beach in Kailua 15 years ago, even 10 years ago, it wasn't so pervasive. There might be a floaty thing that came along, but now after a heavy trade wind, it's just ribbons, and it's smaller than sand, right? And so I only bring that up in terms of evolutionary interruption, because it's so pervasive that all species are being or now inside of this
Didn't sound much.
this juice. Yeah. Or they say what we have now, a spoon of plastic in our brain. That's good. I could use it. But that's something I was thinking of when you mentioned evolutionary interruptions.
Well, sure. I mean, uh, then we can take that. That's a symptom. So then we look for the cause of the symptom. And just in a moment, I can just say that this ties in as I see it with the, you might say, common attitude towards personal health and how twisted that is and how evident it is in all these advertisements that we get on television for medications of one kind or another. And they keep inventing new ones because in a few weeks from now, there'll be one you never saw before, and then another one before you never saw before. And they all have these new names.
Exotic.
Shit, they got so many names that it's mind blowing.
Terrible.
These guys
side
hired just to create the names.
I
you
know.
Mhm.
I know. But then you look at it carefully and think about it carefully, and you recognize that what these are for is not to heal anyone. They're only to take away symptoms.
Yeah.
In fact, that's most of the doctors that we've got in the med biz now are doing too. Like you'll sit there, they only got 15 minutes with you because it's a business. And they've got a screen right there, and they're looking at that screen while they're asking you about your symptoms. And so then you tell them the symptoms, and then they type that in, that symptom, and then they get a medication for you right there. And then they put you on that medication, which is also going to be toxic. And
That's
so,
like the ads are nuts, like the lady who just had dinner and goes, oh, she got some kind of bad indigestion, and so they say, oh, well, take this, and then it shows her having a good time later on that night. Like, lady, right?
Come on.
and of course, the whole, it's all right there because you see on the foot of the screen that you're watching, it tells you about 30 different things that are going to
Happened to
maybe
you.
kill you. And
Yeah.
so, and you're reading these things, but they're showing this guy's, he's back playing pickleball, that he couldn't do it because he had this symptom. And so now he's out there playing pickleball. In the meantime, on, on the bottom of the screen is all this stuff. And you go, don't they read that? I mean, no, they don't care. They don't care because they want to get rid of these symptoms
Yeah.
rather than get healthy, rather than get
It's like,
clean, rather than get
it's like that drug everybody is using to lose weight. It was
Mhm.
made for something else, but
It's
oh
it's
look,
it's just a farce. But
Yeah.
this
Don't let them
is
give you that stuff. That
this
stuff
is
almost killed me. I ended up in the emergency room for
yeah,
Ozempic. Guy gave that up. And here's another thing, talking about the elements. Do you realize, because my wife's been a pharmacist forever,
right.
that not just the drugs that we don't use that we throw down the toilet and throw away wherever, but the drugs that we do use that pass through our system go into the environment. And we're talking about toxins and poisons, and they're out there. They're still out there. You can't
Yep.
get them out of the system, and just nobody talks about that. You know.
No, there's a I gotta mention this. There's this gal, um, I can't think of her name at the moment, but she has a weekly piece in the great Seattle Times. I mean, it's a great paper. Um, and every Sunday she's in the paper. And I really like her a lot. I mean, I think I'd like to get together with her at some point. And but at the same time, she's got to go very carefully about what she talks about because, and I was just talking to Ann about this week because she's working for the paper, and a lot of the papers got advertisements for food, so-called food, that isn't really healthy. And so there are all these different recipes and different things, and you're looking at this and you're going, this isn't really good for you, and places, restaurants, and stuff, and so you go, and that's the business of it, they just are so trapped by all of that. Uh, the worst part for her was about a year and a half ago when she painted herself into a corner where she got to talking about fat shaming, um, and which I guess is a big thing, and that made it impossible for her to really. Nowadays she'll still talk about it's best not to be way overweight and all that kind of stuff, and she does talk about that. But for a while she avoided it, and not only that, she was really talking about fat shaming as a kind of a no-no that you couldn't really get into it. In fact, here's one of the ones you couldn't do. You couldn't tell somebody who'd lost a bunch of weight how good they looked
Why not?
because you'd be talking about how good they didn't look before.
That's
Oh,
terrible.
wow.
That's terrible. You're congratulating them for doing something good to their life.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know. Of course, you'd be congratulating them in your mind, but
Well,
but
this
and
is
you
such an
couldn't do that.
easy
You couldn't do it.
People
This is
are,
such an easy distinction to make, though. It's such an easy distinction because it's not about their physical appearance. It's about poisons they're putting in their body. And it's the
No
poisons
kidding.
they're putting in the body that are the
No
problem.
kidding.
And the weight problem or whatever that is. I mean, sure, that's a part of that, but it's the dangerous crap that keeps going in their mouths. That's
Well,
what they're doing.
you guys remember when I changed my diet and all that stuff, um, back in the 70s. And
Quit
when
eating pork rinds, huh? That was at the time.
I never ate
Oh,
pork
come
rinds.
Pork
on.
rinds, yeah.
Pork
No,
rinds, come
no,
on.
no, I never ate pork rinds. I may have tried one once or something like that. Um, but I was going to point, what was my point now?
All right.
Um,
Your
uh,
diet.
and so,
Diet.
I know what it was. So then I was with Anita then, and so I was doing fasting and all that stuff, and total diet change to natural food and so on. And then I recognized that I was getting a cure for cancer. Um, and I had to kind of put it together in various kinds of ways. But, and you know about my skin cancers, most of you all do, and how I've been able to deal with them and get rid of them. I needed this cream you get, but it was my immune system that they were activating. But here's the way it looks to me, and here's the way it was looking to me back in the 70s. That, and I look at and I read the obituaries in the Seattle Times and so on, and I like to do it because I see that people doing wonderful things. I mean, lives that were really meaningful, and I love to look at those. Um, but a lot of them were only living until the end of their 70s or something like that, um, and um, and that seemed like my 70s seemed like a long time ago to me. And so when
Yeah.
when even then, back into the 80s and so on, when I was getting really cleaned out and healthier, um, and I recognized that the human body is born. This is the natural thing here.
Hmm.
This is us as natural creatures.
just,
Because when we're boys and we have a wound, we can just watch it heal. I mean, when I was a kid and I'd get something and then I just watch it day by day and it would just heal itself. And I was just like, whoa, this is so cool. Um, and that's the way we're meant to be. Or I don't care what the illness is. But if we take
there's,
it, if the food, if the food isn't natural and organic, it's not going to work. And so all these organ illnesses, then they're all cancer usually, the cancer of this organ or that organ or something like that. So here we go. If we have the diet that are being advertised in the newspaper at the restaurants, and if we eat that stuff, now we have the challenge to our body to what? Make it useful and nutritious, and make it be recognizable to our organs of digestion and evacuation and all of that. But the body doesn't recognize those molecules because they're artificial colorings and flavorings. They're all these artificial ingredients, and so those are toxic. And if we're not in a diet that's an evacuative diet where we're just things are accumulating, where are they going to be stored up? Where are all those chemical things going to go? In the organs.
Yeah.
And so those in the cells of the organs. So then, simple as that. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
no-brainer that you can't survive when you've got all kinds of artificial ingredients in your body. They're going to be toxic, and they're going to be cancer of the liver, cancer of the toxin, or whatever, cancer of the kidneys, or kidney, whatever, and so on.
Colon.
It's like, yeah, colon, it's with Grady Timmons. And so if you got, do you remember, I gotta remember his name now. He played for the Seattle Seahawks. He was a defensive back. He was an all pro. He might be in the Hall of Fame. They were just talking about him recently. I just can't think of his name at the moment, damn it.
Part of the League of Doom group.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
guys.
And he was.
Definitely.
And he
He was like a cornerback or a safety or something.
yeah, he was a cornerback and or a safety, one of the two. And
Sam
he
Chancellor.
and he got cancer, and it was ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen.
And he became well, yeah, I mean, if you take a little bit of it, I don't think it's a big deal. He took it like it was candy
Oh.
because
It's
you
enough.
know, it makes you feel better. It's once again kills the symptoms.
Yeah.
And he just died not long ago. Maybe 50, maybe a few
Years old?
50 couple, something like that. But when but I don't know if many people put two and two together with him. Kenny Easley.
Kenny Easley.
And so, and he was notorious for loving ibuprofen. He was known for it. Yeah, but I don't know how I would do without ibuprofen, and I'm out there again, I'm out there again. And then suddenly he wasn't even 50 when he was getting sick and so on. But you don't hear any news about that. You don't hear anybody wanting to know it. It's like that should be a major story. And because that's really what matters. And it's the same thing when I read these obituaries. They just say he died at 75 or 60 or 72 or whenever, and maybe they'll say of some kind of cancer. A lot of times they'll say some kind of cancer or something like that. And so the culture is poisoning us basically if we allow it to do it. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. So there's evolution being interrupted.
And in the
new age, we had this opportunity to really change in the 60s and in the 70s. We had a chance to really wake up and realize that that natural ways of doing things are healthier to do. And this is where nature comes into play in so many ways in what we're talking about in our evolutionary studies. But it's these interruptions that take place in it. The way I look at the New Age's interruption, because I was really happy to be in it, right in the middle of it, because I was 23 in 1960 and I was 33 in 1970, and consciousness was alive and well. Consciousness was all over the place, and waking up, and spiritually as well as, dietetically, whatever you call it. But then there was a tremendous feedback from evolution at that period, that that uh, um, Theodore Roosevelt wasn't ready for in 1975, and it was the blowback from the right wing,
Yeah.
because the left wing got so outrageously uh, decadent.
Hockey.
In Honolulu, right in downtown Honolulu, man, they had gay movie theaters, uh, where you could go in them and guys are getting blowjobs and guys are getting jerked off by the guy next to them and strangers are next to them and so on. I mean, right in downtown Honolulu.
Oh, and
Uh,
sanitary.
and so it was like so wild. Because I was in the middle of it, we just rubbed the conservatives' noses in it. And boy, when they got the chance to get back, they've done it. They've done it with, you know,
Engines, but
it's
Oh
like
yeah,
boy.
it's like, but
I thought,
they in 1970 it all began. It all began, and I've written columns about this. I could maybe share some of them with you guys. But when I was writing my column for Whatcom Watch, and I traced this whole thing, doing my research on it, uh, and the Republicans were having summer camps for kids and young
mm,
people, talking about the evilness of the liberals and the evilness of the left wing and so on, and poisoning the minds of all kinds of, and the federalists, whatever you call them, uh, that outfit, all of them. If you look up the Powell memo,
oh, no.
Lewis Powell, who was a cigarette lawyer,
Mm,
and he wrote a memo to the National Chamber of Commerce talking about how we've got to go after the liberals and poison the atmosphere towards about them. Um, and then Nixon made him put him on the Supreme Court. Um,
mm,
and
gross.
The Powell memo is notorious. I saw one time, I saw, what's his name from Rhode Island, the senator there. He's a really cool guy. He wrote, after I'd learned about the Powell memo and written about it in my column, Just Thinking columns. Um, he became a little bit more well known, Lewis Powell. But that's the blowback that we received, after the 70s, and where, I mean, we were just off the wall in the 70s. I mean, the way I dressed, I mean, it was so crazy. The column I wrote for the Advertiser, called Chris Dewitt, called, you know, the toy department,
The
and
toy
and
department.
and that was my that was my view of life, in my 30s there, and into the 40s. I get in my 40s, was just this just crazy life, this crazy world that that we were wallowing in, um, and now I don't know when we're going to get evolution back. I
But
mean,
yeah, I feel like evolution started going into the, hesitating when we started using oil and then the oil became plastics and then capitalism ran rampant. And I think
Amok.
you know,
capitalism it's the enmity of the amity, right? I mean, capitalism is dog eat dog and so contrary to the concept of nature we're trying to study. And,
mm,
and so I see the 70s, you're talking about 60s, 70s as just a short respite of all that and a slight effort at trying to fight that back and hold it down, but can't last for long.
because there was a lot of great stuff then too. Obviously, natural food and
Yeah.
organic and all kinds of wonderful stuff. Great liberal thinking and politics and so on. Um,
And luckily, a lot of that continues today among groups of people.
sure, yeah, that's right, that's right. But it's a very much into that enmity thing, because you don't have to be, um, uh, the ugliest form of enmity side to say I'm not going to eat that kind of food or something like that, you
Mhm.
know. I'm opposed to that. That's where it can be a healthy opposite or a healthy duality, but I think it's really the biggest issue that we're dealing with in the whole world. Because there's hatred involved in it, not just a preference not to do it, um, where you can't go to a soccer match without having a brawl happen right nearby between the two fans, between the two sets of fans.
The
Um,
fans, right? Not even the teams, right? Just the fans.
well, yeah, yeah.
That's
But
crazy, yeah.
you know
Ah,
when I think of plastics, I think of The Graduate.
yep,
Me
that's it.
too.
You're the man, guru. Yep,
One
It's
word
the
for you.
future.
aside, the whisper in the ear.
It's the
Yeah.
future.
Oh,
Yeah.
guru, way to go. Yeah,
No, I agree. I think of that all the
that's
time,
it.
man.
Yeah, that's the one. That
That was the
nails it.
end of,
Yeah.
yeah, that was,
I got a word for you. I got a word for you, Benjamin.
Yeah,
What?
Benjamin. Ah,
Plastics, man.
yeah.
And it's all
yeah.
just, oh God, it's really it's the
And
deal.
now it's in all of us.
Yeah.
You know,
But back to
they found it in women's placentas, and they, oh, big thing, but then they checked everybody's organs and it's everywhere. It's just-
Mhm.
and
that kind of led them,
plastic bags, and getting chewed up and swallowed up by some poor sea creature.
God.
But you know,
And in Hawaii, they go out to these outer islands that aren't inhabited, and they tons and tons and tons of stuff that just washed ashore, fishing lines and ropes and
Mhm.
plastics and bottles and lighters and all this stuff. And they collect it and bring it back, and then they go out and they keep doing that. I mean, it used to be nice. We used to get glass balls from
Oh, the
Japanese
balls are
fishing
great.
nets,
Yeah,
and those were really cool. Get them on the
those are good.
shoreline, Kailua side. Oh man, I got a glass ball somewhere around here. But that used to be all you got, right? Now it's like every Flotsam, Jetson thing you can possibly
I
think
got a
think
plastic
of.
ball just like that.
Yeah.
well, of course, Hawaii is a great place for glass balls. And then you want to think, well, they're biodegradable, but they're not that degradable. So you
You
can't
got some
really,
plastic balls now, right, Jamie?
Yeah, plastic
yeah.
balls. Forget that. This the one was in the ocean a long time, and it's
Yeah.
didn't degrade whatsoever. No way. But
But if I may,
right,
I'm wondering about what we were talking about in the beginning about the forest and how we've lost all this knowledge about nature and we've ruined so much of it and destroyed so much of it
Mhm.
without getting into, white guy bashing or anything like that. Can we make the distinction that indigenous peoples kind of seem to get it in
They
ways
got
that
it.
Euro Americans don't?
What there's a lot to that, isn't there? I mean,
I mean, I
um,
know it's a very complicated situation, but I don't know. I mean, so many of the indigenous people and peoples from that area, that they understood it. They get it, how you have to
The balance.
cooperate, be a,
Uh,
a living member of this bigger, I
mhm.
don't know. Is that even safe to consider?
well, I
Oh,
think it's in their tradition to honor nature much of the
Right,
time.
right.
Mhm.
Um, even to even to seeing the what was that thing just recently? I know what it was. Um, uh, I yesterday, Mitch, after we got to talking for a long time yesterday, and Fritz is his brother-in-law, and Mitch and Fritz were up here visiting a year ago or so, and well, he's up here often from Austin, and so they gave me this YouTube thing to go to,
Hmm.
um, and it was about this particular scientist. Um, and it was an early. The first part of it was a clip from him being in Papua New Guinea or in Papua, Indonesia. So not quite the way it would be in Under the Mountain Wall. Not so jungly. And it was up in parts of New Guinea that are like almost in ice and glacier kind of world. And it's the most beautiful thing. And this didn't show long, but it showed just a bit. And so there are these tribes down below the glaciers who are at war with each other. It didn't show them really, but it was mentioning them. And so sounding like Under the Mountain Wall. And so then you get this group of scientists, including this guy that they featured for this whole episode after that. And so they're up there and he's doing ice core samples, um, which of course I'm sure you all know about. And this piece of him was fairly new. It was big ones like this, but I've seen others, over time, shown. And so they're up there doing this ice core sample. Well, in the meantime, these natives down below, um, tribes, saw this all as sacred. And the ice was actually like their forefathers. It's the most amazing, beautiful thing you ever saw. And so, and so they're complaining to these scientists, who are getting this ice core down there. And so the chief is talking to them and telling them that, well, you're cutting into our God. This is the God, our God, and our God has, and you're taking away, and you're taking away our thoughts. You're taking away our thoughts of and the scientist, a cool guy goes, yeah, it's what I'm doing, because there's all this history. There's all this history in these ice cores,
Yeah.
and it's like it's really like primitive consciousness is meeting up in the highest level of modern scientific consciousness, where of course your history is, and they didn't go into that at all anymore. Then they just went back to when he was young and becoming a scientist and so on, and that's all I got to see. Unless I look more, it's on my phone and I'll have to look it up again. But it was like so profound when he this beautiful guy who's a scientist, and then you get to learn more about him as this show goes on. But as he agreed with this chief, that's exactly what he was doing, and then he must have had more to say than that, but they didn't show it. Yeah, so that's where. Go ahead.
Do you kind of on the subject, but you talk about interruptions. I've been watching this thing, and they say that the theory is that we stopped evolving as soon as we discovered fire, because we no longer had to, if you don't have to work to survive. Well, in Britain just recently, they have uncovered, actually, it was on a dig, fire making tools and a pit
40,000.
that is 400,000 years old, puts back fire making for humans 350,000 years. They uncovered a fireplace essentially, and flint and stone to make fire. And you know what? It wasn't Homo sapien, it was Neanderthal. Very interesting. So what I'm saying, there's so many more new discoveries going on, and it's amazing. So you were able to stay in a place. You no longer had to become nomadic, and then you started, instead of hunting and gathering, you started cultivating. And, you know, that's how that starts. And they say that it's the theory is that you no longer have to evolve. You just, you change the earth rather than you change yourself. You change the environment to fit you. So very interesting though.
Yeah. Um, but what if you just pave it over? So
Well,
then,
it
so then,
takes at least 50 years for it to come back at all, particularly if it's blacktop. It's it destroys it.
well, and the
The soil.
Neanderthal was way ahead of the Homo sapiens for a while, right? So,
Well, there's another discovery in central China, and they have found tested and tested again a Homo sapien skull that is 1 million years old, so that they don't know that the three main types of human were living together, but it shows that they were alive at the same time. So, you know, like I said, there's so much going on,
And a lot more to learn.
particularly with LIDAR and stuff, what we've been talking
what,
about.
Frank?
And a lot more to learn. I'm just saying, you know, it's we feel like we know a lot, but it's really such a little bit of how things happen. I mean, we all have a little bit of Neanderthal in us, according to
Yeah, sure,
DNA analysis, right?
sure.
Right. They didn't disappear. It's
Well, Homo
a
sapiens
recessive
seems to have
gene.
been able to,
It's
you know,
interbreeding.
gather a lot of, but if we go back to evolution, um, where we belong, um, I think to me, um, I don't think there's any cease to it. Um, to me, it is a sacred thing that is um, always wanting to emerge through nature. If, if we look at it historically, I mean, we've got these two, we've talked about this before, we've got these two things, the natural and the artificial. And so these are the probably the two most prominent, the most prominent pair of opposites that we have in human experience, human life, and so on, is this relationship between the artificial and the natural. Now, if we look at the artificial in terms of literacy, then we recognize that all artificial means is man-made. That's the only meaning for it. Now, when we were young, especially me, artificially kind of meant kind of connoted as rather than denoted, fake or not real and not so good or whatever, because it wasn't natural. And then more and more and more and more and more, the preference moved towards artificial. So we have a culture now that really prefers artificial in many, many, many ways, if not most. So that even colors, we all know we got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. We've talked about this as the chakras and so on. But if we think of the colors that people prefer, are these goofy colors, chartreuse and various kinds of colors that aren't the natural colors. They're not as bright. They're bright, you know, these artificial colors and things that are artificial are celebrated much more than natural things. And so we got it to a point now where we prefer artificial flavorings than natural flavorings. I mean, literally, we do. I mean, humankind, a lot of people do. It's sweeter, it's more this, it's more that, it's innovative, it's a goofy color, goofy flavor, or well, or whatever it happens to be. But we now know, we've talked about it a little bit ago, it's going to be toxic because it's going to be molecules that are concocted that aren't going to be healthy in the organism. But this war between the artificial and the natural has gone from a natural kind of war when we had to live like I may have mentioned this to you guys, but the REI store in Seattle
Yeah.
years ago had this by the men's room. There was this big glass case with these two figures in it, life-size figures, like North Pole figures, and one of them would be the original guy, you know, and then the other would be the modern guy. And everything that the original guy was wearing was natural ingredients. Everything was natural ingredients, right down to the snowshoes.
Yeah.
Everything. The other guy was like it was all full of Patagonia or something like that, you know. And I love Patagonia. What can I say? But at the same time, it's like all artificial stuff. And so, in this way, it makes sense to go for the artificial stuff. I can't argue against it. But at the same time, we see the necessity for certain things to be artificial. And if we look at it actually verbal language, then we see that artificial definitely means man-made. We just have to recognize that. It's an artifact, it's artisan, it's artistic, it's art, it's artful. That which kind of means not honest, maybe, when you're talking about somebody being artful, like in Dickens, you know, the Artful Dodger. Uh, or but nonetheless, because it can mean, you know, something humans concocted.
Well, it's what humans left behind too, so we can find out what they were thinking and doing and inventing and yeah, all the artifacts. That's what archaeology is about in that sense.
Sure. I
It
mean,
leads
if
to
Carlos
history.
was here, we could talk about all the wonderful in Mexico, you know, all the pyramids and all those, you know, I've been to dozens of them. And artifacts are being sold to you, you know. It's like the little kids are selling, oh, it's a natural, this is a real thing, you know, this is the real thing. And you can get it for 10 pesos or something. And so, but an artifact is
Being
a
sold.
souvenir of
No.
something, and it's a man-made object, and so and we love artifacts and so on, we because they celebrate ourselves, and then they celebrate each other and all this kind of things, and there's nothing necessarily wrong entirely with it, but there has to be some mindfulness about it, some consciousness about it, so that we recognize that and and of course we look 100 200 years ago and we looked at a house and it's an artificial structure, but it might be entirely made out of natural materials.
Hmm.
And so is that good or bad? I don't know what the answer to that question is either.
Indian teepee or something is what you're
Or a
talking.
yurt, you know. um, Definitely a teepee would be all natural ingredients and or natural materials and so on. But this is where we've evolved to this point
Yeah.
in its own way, so that evolution does contain uh, artificial ingredients, and so then we have to. That's where wisdom comes into place at the seventh chakra. I mean, without knowing the answers to things, if we just have love of wisdom and just approach things that way, then we can do our best, because then we've moved our way up through the seven chakras, and there's artificial, then or excuse me, there's the wisdom nature right there at the crown chakra, the top of the head, the thousand petaled lotus, and so on. Because the way I look at it, as you know, is the way we're looking at the evolution of humankind. It's got to be the love of wisdom that is the pinnacle of it, and that's also our gift. It's also our uppermost capacity. I know the Tim 3 here over here. Probably I don't know if I've talked to Tim about. We've talked a lot of wonderful conversations, but I don't know if I've talked to him about the horizontal chakras.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so then this really, really enlightens us about evolution. Because now it's showing us how these capacities in the chakras were actually learned by humankind over time. And so we started out as two-legged animals without much else going for us. And then, of course, that's where we get into the amity enmity. That's where we get into the tribe. That's a lot of stuff that we'll be looking at in further books, especially Arthur Keith, A New View of Evolution. We'll get to him because we've got him on that recording, right? We've got him. It was where I discovered on that site, word prose or something like that. Remember that? It's in your uh, computers. And where I was looking around for him, trying to find him, and then there it was. And we have to read the whole thing online. It's not like a book, but there it is. And so, and he's laying out for us this um, in that book, this view of the tribe being the teacher of the amity enmity complex, but at
Yeah.
the same time, the tool of evolution, because there is the amity side of it, where to be successful in the tribe, one had to be loyal and trustworthy and
Mhm.
and and all those other adjectives you can think of. And so, but at the same time, you also had to be in enmity against with the other tribes, just like Under the Mountain Wall lays it out for us and elsewhere. And so you had to have the tribe, because you were still not developed yet as human beings to be able to love others, as opposed to right now, right? So, uh, so it's like, yeah, we're just born with that. We're born with that.
Yeah.
Some of it. But our capacity to rise above it is part of our evolution, so that we can see that I have to have unqualified love rather than only qualified love. Only that. Now, a lot of this came to me during spiritual, when I was working with the chakras a lot, where we had, where I was working with St. Paul and St. Paul's three loves, Eros, Philos, and Agape. And so, uh, and I couldn't, this is when I was living in my office. So, and I, and I, and so I couldn't relate to this Eros love as being, in St. Paul's view, this is the guy that told us we see us through a glass, comma, darkly. That's how much wisdom this guy had. So he's not going to be telling us that erotic love was one of the three, which we've got out of erotic and Eros, Cupid's Greek name, or Latin, or not Greek name, but
Roman.
yes, yeah, Greek name, because the um, Latin name was Cupid. And so we, when we look at that Eros love, then we realize that it's conditional love. It's just conditional love. You can have it for your brother. You can have it for your teammate. You can have it for your whatever we're talking about. But then Philos is the unconditional love. That's the heart chakra love. And so that's where evolution is also taking place, so that we can have love for all else. We lost Ron. And what time is it?
No, no, I'm here. I just had to stand up and stretch, and I didn't feel like shaking it all in front of y'all.
And so St. Paul to me,
Thank you.
St. Paul to me, boy, I mean, I just love him. And I can't dislove anybody that loved Jesus either. I had a wonderful conversation with Judy Doyle, a good friend of ours. She's about 3 months older than me. And I was over at her house a couple of days ago picking up my new calendar here. She has a copy of my new calendar. And
All
so
right.
and so and we got to talking about this, and she's actually she's Irish, of course, but she's not a Catholic, she's a Lutheran. Um, but we're talking about Jesus, and I talked to her about the courses I taught at UH and teaching Jesus in a uh, narrative way.
Mhm.
And she was very interested in that because she recognized when I was talking about when Jesus was saying to the apostles, "I am the door, I am the way," and so on. By the way, Ron, I consider him to be the Michael Jordan of Jews. But beyond that, uh, so it's like in this particular case,
Mhm.
he's not telling his apostles that you had to like I would be the only teacher you could ever have. I mean, obviously, around the world, there were all kinds of teachers there anyway. But it was saying, this is what he was saying to them, because this is a great narrative. He's saying, it's either me or the Pharisees. So now, and the Pharisees are teaching you all the wrong stuff. They're teaching you to hate them and hate these people and all these different people you hate, and you just follow us and be hateful. Enmity is what the Pharisees were teaching them. And he was saying, no, we got to love everyone, and so on. And so that's the whole thing. And this is where all of us have the enmity in us. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like whenever I'm on the trail and I see somebody with a Yankee cap,
Do you knock it off?
and
You know.
so and so and so I have to stop. And then they say hello, and I say hello. I say, wait. I said, I just have to. I hope you're okay with this, but I just have to say something. I just have to say a little something to you. And they go, well, what? And I go, Yankees suck.
Oh,
And so
dude.
and so
Ah,
but they're friendly
have to
about it.
say
They're
that.
friendly
You
about it.
have to say that.
Because they understand
Sounds
that
like a choice to
they
me.
understand you're a Yankee. I'm a Red Sox fan, and so how could
That
I
explains it.
how could it not cross my
Uh,
mind? And so that kind of thing, it's kind of like enmity again,
No shit.
oh, it is.
and you
So
have to be peaceful about it. You
absolutely.
have to be gentle, and so on. And they would laugh. They would laugh because the Yankees, of course, are in first place, and the Red Sox are in third or fourth place, and the
All
Yankees
right.
the Yankees have got Aaron Burr, not Aaron Burr, but Aaron Judd or
Yeah,
whatever.
Judge.
And so, uh, yeah, Justice. And so this is the enmity thing, which I think is the thing that's available to us to heal from. I mean, it's like there are lots of things that we have to outgrow in ways that aren't even conscious about doing it. But that to me is the most important one, really, the most practical one, the most available one to us to be able to rise above it and not and to be and we got this and I'm thinking about writing about this the term uh, um, party line so that what's your party line, and if you're a Republican or a Democrat or whatever they're calling them, then you automatically disagree with the other side because you've got to be supportive of your party. You've got to be, even if it's wrong. And this is
Yeah.
where some of you probably remember John Lindsay, who was the Republican mayor of New York City, and he was a beautiful soul, and he was balanced, and he could be in conscious harmony with his own thinking, whereas uh, the enmity thing is going to be part of everyone's consciousness in some kind of way, even if you don't like a certain food or whatever. Um, there are these choices that you make, and you can't really find much in them that you approve of, but I think the big question right now is if what you guys can see as the current evolution interruptions. Because as we when we first were getting into Darwin's lost theory of love and first beginning to think along these terms, and I mentioned one time that, well, we want to be looking back at the original humans, you know, the primeval humans, although learning that what Loy has to say about the human that can impregnate itself isn't really true.
No, that's
It was like he's wrong about that. I don't know where he got it or whatever, but that just isn't the case. No mammals, no mammals are like that ever.
yeah, we're
Any,
mammals.
anyway, so but nonetheless, that time in history, you know, that to recognize, because I love the sex, the three-part evolution, remember, that he described, sexual affection instead of attraction necessarily, but affection, and then parental affection, and then social affection, you know, which was a good thing, but it still led to the enmity thing, but nonetheless, it was still a good thing. That period, that stage in our evolution, way back. And so, and then the period of Darwin, when evolution consciousness was breaking away, and that's not very far from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And so we can see something happening in the 19th century. And then now, as we look at the future, because evolution's got to be meaning something forward for us, and that's Theodore Roszak. Theodore Roszak was looking at things in that way in 1975. What are we graduating to? What's ahead of us? What are we going to be doing, and so on? And it's a war between the evolutionists and whatever. They're not thinking in evolutionary terms, but nonetheless, we see the capacity for that, which is pretty scary. And so this is really kind of our responsibility now, you know, to be looking at what's happening and what's evolution interruptions now taking place, because there's, as I see it, evolution's not going to stop, or evolution's not going to quit or give up. It
It
does
can get set back, but it's always going to strive forward. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I think the chakras are going to be there for us to help as we move from physical to emotional to mental, and obviously those are basic levels, and then into the heart chakra, and then into the creative, intuitive, and all the way up to wisdom. All of us have those capacities, obviously. And so if we try to be in love with wisdom, that makes us a philosopher. Really. I mean, I met lots of people in Mexico that weren't very well educated, and they weren't even all that literate, but you could tell that they were thinking along those lines, you know, what's the best way to be? What's the, you know, and so on. Well, that's philosophical, you know, and it brings it down to a point where it's accessible to all of us to be lovers of wisdom. And some of the time we can only do it, you might say, after the fact. Like, because how many of us have asked ourselves the question, was that the wisest thing I could do? I mean, we've all asked ourselves that.
So many regrets.
Was that the wisest thing to say? Was that the wisest thing to do? You know, and so on. Or was I just being a wise guy? And so you go, well, yeah, I mean, we do aspire to be wise to some degree, in some way. We call it street wisdom and that kind of stuff, which I think is kind of kind of a little theft. But it's like, yeah, I mean, and that's to me where the seven chakras are really, really the stepping stone. Well, as where'd Chris go? Oh, there he is. Were you five originally or six?
We're still six.
I've been here.
Six.
I've been here. Here
Who
I
wasn't
am.
here? Who's not here anymore?
We're all here.
And so, and what was I thinking of?
Where's Chris?
Yeah, before
Chris.
that,
Gonna tell me what I was thinking?
the evolution of the physical body is certainly ongoing. Darwin describes ears as remnants. We don't really need them. They don't help us hear.
Mine don't either much anymore.
I mean, the outer part of your ear, it doesn't. I always grew up thinking, oh, there's curves and everything, catch the sound waves and channel them. Nah, the ear was, some people can still move their ears because they got some of that muscle. You know, the muscle in your forehead, you can move your skin on your forehead. That's the same kind of muscle that horses have on their back where they shake the flies off. And it's the same thing dogs have in their ears. And other animals can turn their ears and see which way the sound's coming from. And
Sure.
so some people can still wiggle their ears, but most of us can't because we're evolving out of that. You know how spacemen never have any ears?
There's no
Well,
sound in space.
What is interesting to see is still you've talked a bit, Jamie, about evolution that we consider genetic, and asking about behaviors,
Yeah.
and I definitely think that you and I talked about it on the phone. I definitely think that there's a, 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 a part of that that's yeah, even in the enmity thing, which is a behavior, that it's included in there. So that
My question is, does learned behavior become genetically encoded over time? Or is it innate in us? Darwin, because that was quite a while ago, believes it does, but of course he can't prove it. He can see examples, but without without access to modern genetics, he doesn't know. So I'm still looking for proof positive on that score. So
But there is evidence that isn't necessarily proof until you've got enough of it, so that we can see growth, that would logically seem to be genetic.
right.
And obviously some of it's physical, like selective breeding, like you have to always remember Mao or Yao Ming, and the basketball player, the Chinese basketball player that was, you might say, that was unnatural selection, right? So that they they paired, the Chinese government paired his father and mother together, and he came out at 7'4". And you wonder why the Chinese didn't keep doing it, because he's a Hall of Famer.
Isn't there a basketball player now who's the
Mhm.
tallest that's ever been? He's like 7'10"
Yeah,
or
he's
something.
still in
For
college,
Florida,
isn't he?
University of Florida.
Yeah, he's still in college, right?
University of
Um,
Florida, yeah.
sure, and
Guys,
that's going
I need to
to.
say goodnight. I need dinner is ready and I need to eat.
Okay,
So
Yeah,
man.
see
Okay,
I
you,
got to
Chris,
get
Phil.
you
going
got to
too,
quit too,
folks.
Chris. Okay, you got
Maybe
to
I'll
quit
see you
too.
in Washington. Stay dry.
All right.
Okay, let me
Go
just
out,
ask you
man.
this. Let me just ask you this then before you go. How do you feel about the 27th of December?
So the only thing I don't have any trouble with it, but it may be another one of the days I have to go to the clinic in Seattle with mom. So the day itself is fine. Um, Actually, there's a chance I'm going to have to be on medication from the day before, and I always take that next day off, but that's to be determined. But as a day, it's a fine day.
Do we have any chance of getting together when you're in Seattle?
Let's see. I mean, right now, mom's going to the clinic three times a week, and we're working on clinical trials and stuff. For y'all, mom's in remission from AML leukemia, but it's kind of trending down right now. So I'm going to Auburn near Federal Way, just north of Tacoma, for about a month, just to help her and to give my sister a break, who's been kind of doing all the heavy lifting. So anyway, that's that story.
Okay, we'll see how it looks. And
All right, stay dry.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Happy
All that good
holidays,
stuff.
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
I'm on my way too. I won't see you because I'll be in China,
Yes, you will. Taipei, right? Taiwan, right? And I thought it was Taiwan.
Taiwan.
You're not
24
going. You're not,
million people.
you're not going to the mainland China, though,
Or
right?
two, one or so.
Yeah, yeah. That was at the beginning of last year. So
Are you going on holiday or are you going for research?
I'm going with basically a friend of the family. She was born there, married to a German guy named Klaus, who's taller than I am. She goes to Taiwan to visit her family for Christmas every year, and my wife and I are going. Uh, I'll let you know how it goes because I'm not a city person, uh, and there are the same number of people on Taiwan as there are on Los Angeles County, and it's only 150 miles wide by 300 miles long, so not much bigger than this island.
Wow.
But they're small. Klaus assures me I'm head and shoulders above all of them, so
All right.
I'll be
Well,
fine.
Hey guys.
Well, wish Judy a happy holiday for Ann and me, from Ann and me.
You bet.
I'll be traveling. I'll be gone from Monday the 16th or the 15th until January 10th. So
Wow.
Okay, good. Then
I'll miss you
I think that
then.
tells us. I think that tells us that the 27th is probably not happening. And so you'll be hearing from me, and we'll be looking into uh, Emerson
Yeah.
All right.
in January.
And
See ya.
I'll email you when I get back and we'll figure it out. Whatever.
Hey, Jamie.
Okay,
ya.
Chris,
See you, Jamie. Nice
I'll see
Great
you.
to see you
Frank,
guys.
I want you to stick around for a few minutes.
Have a wonderful holidays.
You too, Chris, and all my best to the Kelseys.
Yeah, big hug and kiss to your pretty wife, Ann.
I will. She's too bad you can't reach out. She's upstairs, I think.
Yeah.
Be well, my man.
All right.
Oh,
Great to have you aboard, Tim.
wait,
Thank you, Chris.
Wait,
Yes,
are you
sir.
going to be? Are we going to be talking a week from Monday?
No, because I'll be out there and it's
So
kind of
we won't be doing our Monday talk
then.
then.
Nah, I'll email you as soon as I get back on the 10th and we'll pick it up again.
Okay, see you then. Okay,
All right, buddy.
talk to you. Okay,
Take
bye-bye.
care. Thanks, Tim.
Bye-bye.
Good to see
Yeah.
you. See you,
Chris.
Frank.
See you guys.
All right, be well.
Yeah, how'd it go? Tim? Are you comfortable here?
I'm right here. Everything's good.
Yeah. So are you going to talk? Will we talk on Wednesday?
Yeah. Wednesday. Yeah. We're just. What day is that? Yeah, it's good.
Next Wednesday?
Wednesday's good.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay.
Right. We
Okay.
good?
Give Sharon a hug for me.
I will. All right.
Okay.
Nice
And you got
meeting
my message back about your
Right.
website and all that stuff.
Yeah. I got it.
I
I appreciate that. Yeah. It's cool.
I loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I guess
I'm in it. And this fits right in with all of it too, you know?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's great. Okay, okay. See
All right.
you.
All right.
See you.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you, Tim.
All right, Frank.
See you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
So here we are, you and I.
Oh,
So
hello.
so how's it going in terms of your case and
Yeah. I because couldn't have my expert testify by Zoom, I didn't have a defense, so I had to postpone the trial. And the judge is gonna, I guess, pay for this lady to fly out here. It's so stupid. Petty
wow.
misdemeanor. She's gonna come from Pennsylvania. I told her. She said her husband flies for Delta, so they might be able to get some cheaper flights, which will make my judge happier. But she was so excited. I said, "You gotta come to Hawaii." Oh boy! But so they postponed the trial to February. I had a motion to withdraw, and what's it called? Self degradation or something? Depredation? Anyway, when you talk bad
Depredation?
about yourself. So I put down the judge, I'm inefficient, I'm ineffective, I'm behind on the law, I couldn't keep up with these new rules you guys are talking about. I really want to get out of this case. And she makes a speech about how effective and good attorney I am. I've been working so long, and I'm an expert in this and that, and a wonderful counsel. And no, Mr. Miller, you can't withdraw. I'm stuck in this case.
Is this your last case?
It's going to be, I actually have about 3 cases. One is sleeping in a park. It's pretty easy.
Sleeping in the park, huh?
Yeah, sleeping in the park past park hours, like 6 in the morning. They found him in his little shed in the woods of the park. Too bad, yeah.
Okay.
But I think they're going to take down all that forest that he was sleeping in and build something there. I think that's part of the reason the police came around and kicked out all the homeless in that area.
All right.
And so he got a ticket for, But anyway, that's an easy case. Let's see. Oh, I got a spouse abuse case where my client, he said he had his hands on his face like this, and his girlfriend was just beating him in the head, just boom, 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 boom. He just like this, and finally he got tired. He just put it like this, and his left hand hit her right in the eye, and she got a big black eye. So she starts screaming, yelling.
So basically,
Neighbors
this was a
call.
self-defense situation?
Yeah, so we're going to go to trial in self-defense. But the girl's got the black eye. My client has no injuries. It's like,
Not even on his hands, huh?
And, he said she's been hitting me all over my body and face. And the cop says, I watched this tape. They have body cameras now on the police, So I watched this tape. He says, I don't see any marks on you. And the cop says, sometimes swelling comes up the next day. So if your face swells up, let us know. We'll come take pictures, which I thought was pretty cool. But
Right.
my client wasn't hurt. But he asked for a trial, which is his right. So I got that trial and this other trial with the expert coming up. And when those are done, most of my other cases are just going to court to make sure my client did whatever they had to do on probation, proof of compliance hearings. And I got some clients in prison, who don't get out till 2030 something, so it's like, I'm just going to withdraw from those at some point and just tell the judge they need to appoint someone else if that guy ever, has an issue. Usually they go through their time and I never hear from them again. But every once in a while they screw up. They let them out on furlough and then they don't come back. So I get them. I get those back again. I always get clients back who screwed up. It's repeat offenders. But I think that within the 6, I think I can I'm going to tell the clerks of the court, I'm not taking any more cases now. And probably not for at least 6 months while I kind of analyze where I'm at because I'm just mentally depleted. It's going to be hard to get through these 2 trials, but I'll get up for it. I'll do it. Did it before. So
So what are you, 76?
I'll be 75 in February.
75 in February, okay.
Yeah, so 74 and 75 is very eerie. I know my sister turns 80 next year, my oldest sister.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she was born in 46. And other sister 44, no, 46, 48, and I was 51. Um,
So
wow.
tell me, is the room you're in right now, is that
Yeah.
upstairs or downstairs?
Yes, it's upstairs bedroom made into my office. Was a bedroom back
The
when we had
bedroom that
three kids in
that's
here.
the bedroom I used to stay in?
No, I think that's the one over there next door. Yeah,
Okay.
that's my bedroom now over there.
Where's
Etsuko,
Etsuko?
yes.
What's Etsuko's bedroom?
Etsuko's, oh, she's Queen of Sheba. She has a master bedroom, master bathroom with a
Oh
view
yeah,
out
yeah,
to
I remember that
Lanai
bedroom. Yeah.
to the beautiful ocean and sunsets and fuck her. I just
So I'm thinking I got some time now to read your green book.
oh
Um,
good.
I've loved the first, 8 or 10 pages of it.
All
Um,
right.
and
I've told some people, hey, start from the back. It's the same.
uh,
You go backwards or forwards. I was really surprised. My brother Rob said first 2 days he had it, he read it from cover to cover, everything.
good for him.
Yeah, I gotta go get back in touch with him and say, well, what'd you think?
Well, it's I mean, because I haven't read the content of it enough, but I just impressed very much by the whole package of it.
The
Um,
format and everything like that.
yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
tremendous and tells me a lot about your creative chops that you still have. Um,
Uh-huh.
and that's why, of course, I've had thoughts
That's why
about
you talked to me about
you and
helping
me
you
working
out.
together. Hmm?
Sure. I thought a lot more about that too. That's one good reason for me to like back down on the law stuff and talk to you more about what you want to do on that.
Hmm.
Um, I even had daydreams about coming to Bellingham and working with you on this. Just a
Well,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and
Like,
Nora can help me with making some stuff accessible to you by just something
oh
comparable to
yeah.
the team viewer thing.
Oh right,
Um,
right, right.
and where you could just go into my recordings, um,
Oh
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
and we can look at that and see if we can team up on something there.
Okay.
Um, and I'm 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 sorry Scott wasn't here. I think he's the only person that isn't accounted for, and
Oh, that's your dentist?
hmm?
Is
Yeah,
Scott your
yeah, yeah,
dentist? Yeah, you were just having dinner with him the other night. Yeah,
yeah. And
something.
we're having dinner again next week. Um,
Oh,
because I have an appointment with him. Sometimes I said, whenever I have an appointment with him, like a cleaning, I think this is a cleaning
oh, right, right.
for the 18th, and so I just got a message that I have an appointment on the 18th. It's at
All
four
right.
o'clock. It's at 4 o'clock. So what they always is that's my phone, and so um,
Uh,
and so they always set my appointment up at 4 so that he and I can go have dinner together afterward.
all right, I see what you're saying.
And then,
Yeah,
of course, he always insists on paying,
because you're paying him.
which he can afford to do.
Right,
You
yes,
know,
because
he's
you
got
just
like,
paid him, but
oh yeah, he's got a big place going. He's got
all right.
with a young woman partner, and I'm friends with her and her husband, and he's a former baseball player, and then
Huh.
uh, he's got several hygienists and quite a few hygienists and so far I was his customer in '02 when I first came here, and
Yeah.
now me and Eric,
Oh,
Annie, Nora, Zach,
three.
uh, uh, Annie's parents, although her mom has
You're all his oldest client.
her mom has ALS.
Oh
So
yeah.
so that's really, she's not any more dental work. But he has about 8 or 9 customers that used to be mine or patients. So that after followed me up. So I don't
Yeah.
mind it too much. But um, yeah, yeah, and he's very very into it. So I think now Nora's got the record recording of it now. So I think he'll be able to, and I think he'll really enjoy this meeting. Um, I think it was very lively. Um, we had a lot of fun together today. I think it was one of our best meetings. Um, so I'm going to recommend anybody that wants
Go
uh,
watch this one.
watch the recording. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well, that's
last
good.
one, the last one, I don't know if Nora will ever find it. She
Oh,
somehow turned it around, and so and I'm okay with what I'm capable of, which is just get us onto the Zoom call.
right.
It's pretty
Right.
easy,
Yeah.
and so anyway, go do your thing. Do say hi to Etsuko for me,
I will. Yeah.
and Anne, and that Miyoko butter, that I told you about. They've gone out of business. So
Oh
um,
yeah.
yeah, so that's. Um, we're really sorry to see it because we don't really eat butter much at all. Um,
Uh,
but anyway, you're looking good. I'm really, uh, uh,
yeah. I'm trying to be happy. Uh, I really don't take very many things so seriously anymore. Uh,
it's
I
a
can
hard
really
thing. It's a
I
hard
can
thing
let
to be
things I
happy.
can let things slide.
It's a hard thing to be happy, and
Yeah.
um, I think just to be comfortable, um, to be okay with the way things are,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and healthy.
Right. Those
Um,
are all very important.
so that
Yeah.
you can enjoy it when you get into your 80s, and
Yeah.
um
Trying to stay healthy.
yeah,
I keep having
yeah,
to tell Etsuko, stop bringing the sweets home, please. She goes to potlucks and, takes a bunch of food home.
well, a little tiny nibble
Thinks I'm
here and
gonna,
there.
because in the beginning of our relationship, I guess I ate a lot of sweets and I said how much I love chocolate. And so
Hmm.
she got this idea that I'm just a chocoholic, sweethead. And she's
Hmm.
telling her friends, oh, he loves chocolate. And it's like, no, no, I'm changing. Can she get a hold of the fact that I do love black chocolate with high cacao content, but no milk or sugar? It's the best. I told you,
Yeah.
yeah, about letting
I,
a friend try the pure chocolate. I can't quite place the taste. I said, that's chocolate.
well, you know what I like is almond bark. Um,
Almond bark. Yeah, I've heard of that. Bark.
and
What?
and,
I never
and I
thought
have some
bark.
in the counter now, in the cupboard now, but I don't eat it much. I'll have a little of it maybe once a week. Um, it's with almonds in dark chocolate. Um,
Oh,
I
okay.
would never go to milk chocolate, but
Right. No,
uh,
no, no. Yeah.
dark
That
chocolate
sounds
isn't bad, and so I'll have a little of that maybe every couple of weeks. I'll have a little bit, which will include about a little. It's like flat, It's kind of like
yeah.
this, and then it's got all the almonds, in it,
Hmm.
and and I think that's one of the least problematic
Yeah.
bits of chocolate, and maybe I'll have a piece that's about something like that, and so
Yeah.
and and I did a couple nights ago, I ate it, um and uh and I think the sweets are something that you can have a little bit of it here and there. I like um uh what do you call them, peanut butter cookies too.
Oh,
And I don't feel too bad about that because nuts are really good for us.
oh, yeah. Yeah. I
And
eat lots of walnuts
peanut
and
butter is
mixed.
good. Peanut butter is good, um, and or any kind of, yeah, like you say, almond butter or any kind of butter like that is good.
Yeah.
And we don't eat any meat. Um,
Right.
a little fish occasionally. We'll eat some tuna maybe once or a week, and
Yeah.
salmon is okay,
Right.
and
Oh, yeah, I love salmon.
and
Hey, Momo.
what do you
My
call them?
dog.
Um, what do you call them? Like and they come in a can,
Oh, like tuna fish or something.
Yeah, tuna fish, but also sardines. Sardines are pretty
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I
I have
said sardine. Oh, look at that.
Here's my 16-year-old Min Pin.
I remember the cats. I remember the two cats.
Yeah.
Um,
Our oldest Shaky passed away in June. She was
uh,
17. A
oh
nice long
wow,
life.
wow.
Beautiful. Got some great pictures of
I remember sometimes
her and the,
letting the
yeah.
cat out that went out to your lanai there, your whole porch.
Yeah. They
But
played together.
that's a sweet looking dog.
She's nice.
Yeah.
She's mostly hard of hearing. If I really yell with a super high pitch,
Huh.
loud, high pitch, she looks. Oh, I heard
Yeah.
something. She can't tell where it comes from, but if she turns around and looks enough, I'm over there waving because all we got is hand signals now.
I think I'm gonna get hearing aids. Um,
Yeah,
and for certain conversations, that and some things on TV. Um, but
yeah.
because when I'm around Eric and Annie and the kids, they're talking fast and they've got their own patois, and I just don't even try to pay attention to it. I just they sit there and let them talk. But anyway, I'll let you go.
Yeah, I gotta take her out for 4 o'clock run. It's perfect timing.
Yeah,
And
good.
she's 5. It's for 350 here. So you're just going on 6, yeah.
Well, I was pleased to see that Ron was in good state because he did get miffed at me a couple weeks ago,
Oh,
and I was hoping he was kind of holding it against me, but he seems happy,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
so that
You
was
should-
good. Um, and we'll at some point, I don't know how we're going to do it. That's why I want to get the recordings good because I know that there's going to be the two Tims and
Yeah, they're gonna
Carlos
want to come back.
they're going to have to just listen in.
Yeah.
Um, and they won't be able to make it all the time. Now and then they will, but they won't be able to make it all the time. And so I'll
Okay.
want them to be able to
Yeah.
actually do that, actually listen to the recordings. Um, and then we'll be fine, and we can maybe add a few here and there. So if you know anybody, that wants to
Hmm.
um,
Okay.
join the thing, and I'll be happy to talk to them
Yeah, yeah.
and
I've had people go, oh, that'd be fun, but they're not really serious. So
yeah,
I'll
sure.
let you know if I find someone more serious.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, my man.
All right, Phil, love you, man. This is great fun.
You too, you too.
Forward to, I guess we're skipping the 27th.
Yeah, we're
And
skipping that. Because you and I go back to 1973, I think. It could be 72.
well, I
Um,
took several classes of yours in my junior and senior year. I
yeah.
graduated in 73.
Yeah, it
I was
must be
out there at the
72
end of
because
73.
that was the spring of 73 when Kesey was here.
Yeah, right.
And you had
And I was
already
there
been
for the
my
year
student for
already.
at least a year.
Yeah.
Um, so you go back to 72, which is almost the longest of
Yeah, you were mentioning someone else you knew in 73 today. Who was that?
yeah,
Chris.
that was Chris Kelsey.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
I'm pretty sure that was 73 and I have to get his age and
All
see
right.
how he stands with you.
So I'm
Okay,
looking at January 10th and 24th, yeah, for the next Zoom meetings.
is that what it'll be? 10th and 24th? Okay.
10th and 24th, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, I'll be in touch with
great,
everybody.
Phil.
Okay,
Love
be
talking
well.
to you. See you, man.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye,
Bye.
Frankie. Bye-bye.